if you had told me before I went through what I went through, if you told me that day when the ambulance picked me up that I wasn't going to be home for 63 more days and that I was going to endure all kinds of crazy things, I would have told you right then and there, I'm not going to make it through this. But every time I went through something else, there was grace and there was strength. One day, I was FaceTiming my family, and for me, it was really hard to move anything that required moving onto my side, sitting up, any of that. Just I had to recalibrate my breathing every time. I needed kind of that moment or two. It was actually a lot longer than that. There were times where the first week or so, I was just trying to get better, and they were giving me different types of medications and things. But then they started to tell me that the medications weren't really accomplishing anything. Later on Christmas Eve that night, I was told, or my family was told, that I was like rapidly declining. My oxygen was at like 68%, I think, on the vent. So they put me on life support, and that started to work. It started to help me, my lungs recover. And then I came off ECMO, which was thankfully basically a miracle. No one had ever come off yet for COVID again, and so really grateful for that. And then I was on the vent for a few more days, and then they were able to take that out and started kind of a journey of just breathing with high flow oxygen for a while, and then hit some bumps in the road with blood clots and infections and other kinds of things, but thankfully just continued to improve over the next couple months.
It's just powerful, him coming through it and getting that news after there were several setbacks, even when things were looking good. And just to really hear that he's really coming out, and he really got out, and he was going on to rehab, and it was kind of like, well, how long is that going to last? And he really got out of the rehab, and he got through that after all the setbacks and the roller coaster ride. And that was just an answer to prayer, number one. A blessing for all the people praying for him, and blessing for our church as well.
But when I was still in the hospital, just that idea of what can I talk about from having almost lost my life? And so, yeah, when I was still in the hospital, I believe it's just started to just every once in a while, just like a thought would hit me and I'd email myself something or write something down and just, kind of file it away and then come back to it. So, but I wanted it to, encourage people and give people hope, and also challenge people to, live a different way. So I went through it, and it's not because I'm strong. Biggest wimp in the world. Got a little cut on my finger doing yard work yesterday, and I was like, oh, Jesus, help me. Not a tough dude. But there was grace, and there was strength. And then it became time to just wait. I gotta wait for this fluid and this air on my lung to drain so my lung can fill back up all the way, and I can breathe right. And what I hoped would be a couple days, what I prayed would be at most a week, turned into weeks. And there were times I'd call Kelly and the kids and just be like, I just want to be home. You can only watch so many episodes of Fresh Prince and so many Mets games from 2015 to make the time pass before you just long to be home. And Kelly would just say, there's grace for today, there's going to be grace for tomorrow.
Because it's always been, I feel like the Holy Spirit's always in this place, always been here. Then you bring this miracle into it, and it just blossoms.
There's been lots of visitors, which has been fun, and whether they were nurses and doctors from the hospital, or rehab people, or even just people who happen to see it on the news or in the newspaper, or friends inviting friends. So yeah, it's been exciting, it's been fun, and again, just praying that it'll encourage people and help people through their own struggles. I tell you, what I learned from almost dying is it just may be that the best time, the most effective time, the most powerful time God can use you is when you're at your weakest.